And here we are again. Another glorious day. All right.
There we go.
So, today I figured we'd do something different. Let's have a discussion, a real discussion about conspiracy theories. See, ever since Trump went in office, Q surfaced, and conspiracies have been abound ever since. QAnon, for questioning. But it seems like the conspiracies have gotten outrageous. From Jewish space lasers to Democrats eating babies to gain superpowers instead of, well, let's turn back time a little bit and start at the beginning. Conspiracy theories have been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Not only in the United States, but all over the world. It's not something that we have cornered the market on.
Right.
I remember,
but this particular presidency embraced it.
Well, you see, that's the thing. I don't understand how we went from the innocent conspiracies and those conspiracies.
Yeah, but Q
really
came at the right time. You know, Q got involved in this at the right time, and so many people were ready to listen. They've been. Well, no, we didn't have COVID at the time, I don't think.
No, we didn't. But it's not that they're ready to listen. It's that they're looking for something and they can't find it.
Right, but people that needed a purpose got one. You know, a lot of it is like pretty much just that.
Not to sound like a smart ass, but isn't that what religion is?
Potentially, you know.
I mean, I would tend to follow.
But they're tapping into that.
In the sky. But I would tend to be more prone to follow the invisible man in the sky than Jewish space lasers and Italian satellites taking over the election.
Yeah, I know. I don't care what your religion is. If somebody started talking like that, I would. Today, anyway. You know, it's not a thing. You know, it's not doable.
I remember when conspiracy theories when
your music's a little loud there, buddy.
It won't be on the video, trust me.
All right.
I remember when we were kids, our biggest conspiracy theories were Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, and aliens. That the government was hiding it from us. That and who killed JFK.
Right.
And then we went from who killed JFK to Elvis, Tupac, and JFK are all living on an island somewhere and they're not really dead.
Right, they're not dead, yeah.
Yeah, which would make Elvis about 900 by now.
Good point. There's that. Yeah, but wouldn't to come back in Dallas and resume the presidency? Like recently, in the past year or something? What the hell is that all about?
No, they were talking about JFK Jr.
Yeah, JFK Jr.
You know, who was standing on the side saluting his dad as the coffin went by.
Right.
And they said he was going to come back because apparently he died in a plane crash.
Right.
And he was going to come back and be the second coming.
Yeah, I kind of wish they'd latched onto a Bigfoot thing or something. I think that'd be better.
No, I mean, we had those conspiracies. Bigfoot was in the woods, Yeti was in the mountains, Loch Ness was in the water, and UFOs were in the air. And that's what we had to worry about. Now we have to worry about Jewish space lasers starting fires in California. You have to worry about...
Yeah, but they're getting more dangerous now. They've already... They're starting to take over our politics. And now some of these people are thinking that if the election doesn't go their way, then All they have to do is just change it, and that's okay.
Well, it's very strange that people to this day, today, 2 years after the election, still say that Biden didn't win.
You're frozen, buddy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but you're frozen.
Yeah, no problem. We just like to do that.
There you go.
Okay. So, you just like to say that Biden didn't win. Trump is still the president. So many problems come with that question, with that ideology.
Right.
For instance, if Trump is still the president, then that means he can't run in 2024 because you're only allowed 2 terms.
It would also mean everything he done is null and void. And why aren't the people storming the castle, so to speak, to change that? I mean, if they really believed that the January 6th was their chance to make it right, they stopped. And one thing that really kind of bothers me too is from the time the first person broke the window and climbed in from the outside into that building, why weren't they shot on sight? I don't understand. They should have been shot right there, every single person that went in there, because that's the seat of our government. Everybody was in there at the time. They were trying to kill those people. I don't understand that.
I agree, but I also disagree.
Nah.
And let me explain.
I understand the reasons why, because these people weren't thinking clearly, and they were average citizens, probably.
I've had to deal with containing large crowds, and I will tell you that you were on the right track.
The National Guard should have been there on their way before the orders were called on standby.
What should have been done is the minute that glass got broken, tear gas should have flooded the front of the building and a shotgun of rubber bullets. Those hard
automatic gates, the whole works. Yep.
Beanbags or rubber bullets.
I tell you what, though, that's what needs to happen. We need to modernize our facilities to deal with that type of thing, and it's unfortunate.
What I don't understand is the White House has a gate at the perimeter, has a fence, a legitimate wrought iron fence.
Right.
And that's just where the president does his business. There's no barricades for Congress. Why? I mean, they're just as important.
Right. You're froze up again.
God hates me.
Right. What, don't you see your, you don't have your image up? You can see what's going on.
And I don't know why it keeps freezing, because it says it's working fine on my end. I mean, not on my end. My camera's
yeah.
Well. So anyway, I think that, I mean, if they can prepare enough to put gas masks under the seats, then they should be prepared enough to be able to lock that down to any intruder at all.
Yeah, there should be more automatic technology in there to protect them from a breach. I agree with that. Perhaps even some form of arsenal in there as well for the security to be able to repel an attacker. But man, they should have never been allowed to breach that far into the Capitol. At that point, they should have been stopped with lethal force before they reached. I still don't. What if that were the White House? What if it were the Pentagon? I mean, any of those buildings should require lethal force as well. I'm pretty sure the White House is, lethal force, no trespassing, lethal force is authorized. So we need signs like that on the buildings.
Let's discuss this for a second, though. Conspiracy theories are taken on, and they permeated politics.
Yeah.
But we've always had political conspiracy theories. from the JFK assassination.
Yeah, but we usually didn't elect the crazies.
To 9/11. Well, that's.
You know, we got two for sure.
I remember. You remember Ross Perot? Giant whooshing sound. That giant
parrot. Yeah.
Sound. You know, conspiracy theories have always been, for the most part, a victimless conspiracy.
Yeah, for the most part. Because only a small amount believed in, you know, contrails seeding in the atmosphere and shit like that. Yeah. You know?
But see,
I've worked on enough airplanes. It's bullshit. It doesn't exist. At least not in commercial planes.
There's always been a handful of extremists who will take any conspiracy theory to the outer limits. Like when they said 9/11 was caused by Muslims, a handful of miscreants went around and tried to find all the Muslims they could and attack them.
Right. Yeah, I remember some of that.
The same thing with World War II.
With the Japanese, yes, in the intern camps. Yeah.
Japanese and they put them in internment camps as well.
Yep.
You know, there's always been a paranoid
George Takei.
Faction.
Takei. My apologies if I got that butchered. Takei, yes. He was his parents were in an internment camp. I believe he was as well, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
He's written and spoken quite a bit about that. Yeah, that's really bad, man. I mean, I kind of, a little part of me understands it, but not to the way that they did. You know, I could understand maybe questioning people and things like that just because of how significant that destruction was. You know, and our people were scared. Maybe they needed to check, but put them in internment camps and things like that is, you know, talk about a blotched history, another one.
This would have been my solution: is round up all the Asian Americans, bring them in each state, bring them to large sporting arenas, and hold them there while you vet each one and let them go. You know,
that's still a bad look too. Yeah, I would ask for volunteers. I'd ask for volunteers first.
Well, you know,
voluntarily come.
Volunteer.
Right, and then all you have to do is start looking for the people that didn't volunteer, and go to them and knock on their doors like a census. I don't know. You're still trembling on people's rights when you do stuff like that. I do agree. At that time, we probably should have done something.
Right.
You know, just because of what had happened at the time. But yeah, the way they totally dropped the ball, and that's being really nice.
Well, now you hear the Republicans, the right wing, whatever you want to call them, the extremists, all saying how Democrats are fascists.
Oh yeah, we're devil worshippers, man. We're Satanists and shit.
You know what that reminds me of? You remember McCarthyism? Remember learning about that in school?
I do.
It's exactly the same thing. Let's blackball everybody and call them all a communist.
Yeah. Well, we could never be Christians, though. We can't be. Democrats can't be Christians. Just
no, you know, because we have to do that baby sacrifice.
I will say this, though. I used to be just like one of them. You know, Christianity was my way, but I began to see it now, and I mean, I still believe in that, but I don't. What they're doing is wrong. You know, it's not the right way.
I used to go to Catholic Sunday school. I used to go to Catholic things.
Yeah, we did too. St. Mary's growing up.
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
My communion, my confirmation, all that good stuff. But I always doubted it. I always had doubts. I always questioned it because.
To me, that's always like it's being forced, though.
I never believed. Not that I didn't believe. I never fully believed. Like I always had doubts. Like, you know, if this is this case, then what about this case?
Right.
And they'll be like, you know, you're just taking the Bible out of context. No, you know, just stop making excuses.
I mean, yeah, but I've noticed too that it seems like it keeps changing. You know, if a rule doesn't quite fit their narrative, well, they don't follow it, or they change and not even have it in the next edition.
Change the narrative.
You know, and you can't. That's not what it is. You can't pick and choose. You believe in it, or you do not believe in it. It's in its entirety.
The Bible says you can't eat shellfish. Yet, you know, right. Friday used to be, you know, Wednesday and Friday used to be fried clam
right.
Clam strips at Kansas.
Right. No.
So it's packed with churchgoers.
Yeah, I don't. There's a lot of things that have changed with religions, picking and choosing what to follow and what not to. You know, the things I'm seeing out of at least the last administration, they're telling me that, you know, I don't think Jesus would approve. You know, especially overturning Roe v. Wade. They wouldn't approve of. He wouldn't approve of that. You know, the tax breaks for the rich, he wouldn't approve for.
Lauren Boebert say that she's basically Jesus?
Yeah, she also says that the church is meant to run the politics, not the other way around. They shouldn't interfere with each other in any way. It should be oil and water. You know, they don't mix. You know, church and state needs to be 100% separate.
Oh, no, absolutely.
You know, politics shouldn't come from the pulpit.
No, you're right. Because then the question starts to be which pulpit?
Right. Same with public schools. We have so many religions. That's why we cannot have religion in our school, because we're going to leave them all out or not properly cover them. I mean, I think we should probably address some religions in school just to, you know, for historic context. You know, like talk about the Crusades and things like that.
Right, right. But otherwise, each school should take a block of classrooms every morning and say, okay, y'all got 15 minutes. Go to your designated or your assigned or your requested rooms, and you can do your morning prayer, your whatever you need to do. Get that out of the way. I don't care what religion you are, and then
just something to that effect. Sure. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I suppose in a way you're right, because like some Muslim religions, for example, at a certain time of day, whatever, you need to have your prayer. Yeah. Right. I think that if it's separate and private for that individual, then sure. Or if they are in a group of people that want to voluntarily do that thing. Yeah. I mean, in some fashion, I don't see why we couldn't accommodate that. I think that even makes sense in a public school. No reason for it. And as far as restrooms go, I don't see why we can't make restrooms fuck it and just go co-ed. There's no reason why your bathroom stall can't be a room. You know, a little bitty room for your own privacy that's got a door on it that locks. Then who gives a shit? You know, huh?
I'll tell you why. Because, you know, you'd have to have too many separate door bathrooms.
Right, but I mean, like in girls' locker rooms and things like that, then that might be a whole nother matter too. Maybe we shouldn't have communal showers anymore. You know, maybe we need to change how we go forward, because this is our life going forward, and we're going to have to evolve to adapt to live in it. You know, we do need to accommodate the specific group of people. It makes sense. How do we do that? I don't know. Trial and error. Find out what works.
I say leave things the way they are until something happens. If nothing happens, why change it? If it ain't broken, don't fix it.
True. No, just trying to satisfy the people. I don't give a shit. You know, just don't look at me. Keep your eyes fucking forward.
I don't care.
You know, mind your own fucking business. You know, huh?
I said, I don't care if you want to look at my ass. Just don't touch.
Whatever. You know, when I'm on a road trip, man, just keep eyes front. That's etiquette. You don't do that. You can talk to somebody with eye contact. You know, I don't give a shit for girls in there. I don't care. Actually, that's happened to me at some places I've been into in Europe, where some bathrooms just are co-ed.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, I don't know why, but I didn't care. It didn't bother me. I didn't feel weirded out by it at all. No one looked at me and stared, gawked, or laughed, or or whatever.
You bring this up, and here I am thinking, Matt, try and stay focused. We're talking about conspiracy
I know,
theories.
conspiracy theories. But it branches off into so much shit.
Hold on a second. But it also branches back.
Yeah.
What you were just talking about brings on the conspiracy theory that the gays are trying to turn everyone gay. And
right, groomers in schools and shit, yeah.
Within 10 years, everyone will be questioning their sexuality.
And that's why like 8,000 books have been banned and so on and so forth.
Correct. That's why also critical race theory has been banned in schools that don't have critical race theory as a curriculum. Critical
race theory is a college level course. It's part of a judiciary, not that I could say that, but it's a law course. You know,
it's like that congressman who proposed to ban pole dancing in elementary schools.
Don't get me started on furries and litter boxes and shit. Like, what's his face was trying to talk to us about a while back.
What's next? Are we going to say
that's ridiculous?
No students are allowed to bring pet elephants to school?
Yeah, but what if they're emotional support elephants?
You're going to have to leave him outside. You can go and visit him during recess. Just knowing he's there should be enough. You know, but I mean, that's so ridiculous. We're going to outlaw pole dancing in grades kindergarten through 4.
Well, that also, you bring me to the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, where they only leave the assumption that it's only going to be to the age groups up that are appropriate to that conversation. But they don't specify. They're thinking K through 3. I kind of get that. Maybe K through 3. Yeah, I don't know. Some of that shit may be age appropriate. Sometimes it might not be. But I think if a student comes to a teacher, I don't give a shit how old they are, and asks a question, even if it's an adult nature, they should either try to answer it or maybe talk to the parents and say, hey, your kid we just had this conversation, whatever. But the kid should not be allowed they shouldn't be prevented from having that conversation. Or vice versa, the teacher can't be allowed to reciprocate the conversation if they're asked. That's stupid that there's a law for that now. And they could make it for any grade. They really can. There's no limit.
They already have. I mean, high schools have now. I know of one teacher who was.
Well, talk about the suicide rate. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. I apologize for that.
One teacher was fired for doing that exact thing in a high school, saying that it wasn't approved by the administration to discuss things of that nature with her 9 through 12 students.
Right.
And it's like, you know, I saw a thing today, I don't know if I sent it to you, where a bunch of Muslim right-wingers were trying to shut down a school board and even screaming to vote them out because they wanted certain books banned and the school board refused to ban them. So they overpowered. There must have been 200 people in that meeting, and 175 of them were.
Oh wow! I don't remember that.
Yeah, it happened in, I believe it was Wisconsin, Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan, and they even had to, the board threatened to end the board meeting, and they became unruly. And it's like, and the thing I saw was somebody praising them for what they're doing, and I'm like, having parents dictate what to teach everyone's children,
especially ones that don't have kids or never had kids.
Well, they said that's part of the problem is a lot of these people, they don't even live in the town to pay taxes, school taxes,
right.
Or they don't have children in the schools.
Yep. And yet they're winning presidents and so on and so forth, positions in our school boards and school superintendents and so on and so forth. So they control what shit our kids learn.
Right. Which I think if you don't have a horse in the race, get off the track.
No, but it also means too that there aren't enough parents showing up to these events to stop this. That's a failure on our part. I've never gone to a school board meeting or whatever. Granted, my son is older, but still,
I never have either. I've gone,
but that's a failure on my part as a parent. I should participate in that.
It's about the way that the school was handling things.
Yeah, I guess that is true too. Point taken.
And I don't think, unless they made it, public knowledge, I don't think that any of the parents had any idea that 200 Muslims were going to show up and try and shut down a board meeting.
Right, but I don't give a shit if they're Muslim or not. I just care about what their point was. Was it valid or not?
Apparently, this guy doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Was saying that Dearborn, Michigan has the highest Muslim population in the country. 72%.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. I checked. Dearborn, Michigan is nowhere near the biggest county to have Muslims.
I mean, if they wanted to push their religious beliefs and things like that into the schools, then that's a whole nother matter. I would say you need to go to a private school for that. That's fine. If you believe so strongly in your religion, then you either need to create or find an education system outside of a public school system that works for you. And that would be that. Public schools shouldn't. Public schools and religion of any kind. Sorry, don't go to a public school. And no, you don't get a voucher for that either. Fuck you. That's for people that that can't afford really to pay for an education and need something, because your kids do need a minimal education.
Is that like
I suppose homeschooling is an option, I suppose, but you still have to be able to pass state level curriculums to be able to have the privileges to have a high school education or a certified high school certificate of graduation. Regardless of your religious education. That's second.
Where are these conspiracy? Why are people now and not 10 years ago holding on to conspiracy theories?
That's a really good question because it's hit my family too.
I mean, UFOs have been around for decades.
The Roswell, so on, Area 51.
Folklore around it, the conspiracy around it.
1950.
And no one really took it seriously. Now we've got people taking serious Jewish space lasers, or the fact that the government knew about UFOs.
Microwaves, yeah.
And it's like, why all of a sudden? Why not back in the 80s or 90s or even the early 2000s?
I can almost understand the conspiracy theories around like the campfire fire in California, because if you don't understand the dynamics or the science behind a fire, first look at this stuff, I can understand where somebody would see that, hey, how come some things burned and other things didn't? But if you don't understand the dynamics of a fire, then you're not going to understand what you're looking at. So I don't know if you paid much attention to some of these fires in California a few years ago, but that's where the microwave theory began to gain traction, is because you had trees and one house would be completely burned to the ground and a house next to it might be fine.
Right.
But that's the nature of fire and wind and other circumstances that just happened to save us. They got lucky. Everything worked right that day for that particular house.
But what makes people bite into conspiracy theories as much as they have been recently?
I hate to say it, is I saw something actually just today, and it was comparing the education levels from today compared to like 1970 or something like that. And I don't remember the entire article. I'd have to hit it again. But anyway, it was staggering the percentage of how low we are today compared to how we were then, and how undereducated our people are. And I hate to say it, but I have a feeling that that's probably it. We have a large population that is not very educated. You know, I mean, I left school barely with a complete 9th grade education. You know, I started 10th grade, but, you know, I never finished it. You know, fortunately, I went back to school, but I didn't have to continue my education. I could have stayed where I was. And knowing what I know now compared to, I was pretty stupid. I had to learn stuff, you know, and education is the only way to learn volumes of things.
All right, so then
I think that's a big chunk of it.
Let me pose this question: do you think that today's youths are undereducated because the generation before them did way too many drugs?
No, I think it's been by design. I think a lot of Republicans are doing it on purpose, and they've been doing it for some time, because usually the lower education is in a red state. The higher education is in a blue state. Blue states offer more for education than red states do.
And the lower educated people are more susceptible to conspiracy theories. And
look at the map of our country and who votes for what and where the conspiracy theories come from. You know, most of the people, like one of the dude who had his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk, okay, he lives about 15 minutes from me, just down the street. And there's quite a few people that were arrested for J6 that were from my state. That says a lot.
I've met a lot of undereducated people. And people, let's use the right phrase, because I'm so tired of people going, oh, you know, they're uneducated. No, they're not uneducated, they're undereducated.
Undereducated, yes.
They did learn something. They just did not learn it all.
Right, like a 9th grade education in New York is very different than a 9th grade education, let's say, where I am, for example.
Correct.
It's very different.
Correct. I believe, like in a lot of southern states, 10th or 11th grade is equal to 9th grade up in northern states.
I hear the announcements every day from the school that's just on the other side of the field I can barely see. And the Pledge of Allegiance is every day. And then some of the announcements I hear are very bizarre throughout the day of awards people get and just various weird shit that I hear. And I don't know.
So what you're saying is the only way to combat conspiracy theories is not to tell them that it's a made up thing. It's a theory. It's not real. It's to educate them so they make that discovery on their own.
Yes, exactly. I would agree with that. It makes perfect sense to me what you just said.
So then basically what we need to do is
fix the damage they've done.
I don't know if that's possible. I mean, it's got to be possible.
We'll just have to vote them all back out again and pay attention. We've been asleep for a long time. I've only been interested in this kind of thing for a handful of years, man.
They all say, I heard Trump was suing CNN because they compared him to Hitler.
Yeah, but that defamation case just fell apart, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it even dismissed or dropped or whatever?
I haven't seen anything about
his case that went to the Supreme Court fell apart too. They dismissed it. It wouldn't even address parts of it at all.
What I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is, a lot of his followers believe that the left side are the equivalent of today's Nazis.
Yes, sure. Okay. Or worse, satanic, blah, blah, blah. Fix something.
But in the meantime, which group is it that's burning books again?
Yeah.
You know? Which
side has a like this? If I can put my hand out. See, Kyle? Yeah, I've noticed that too. A lot of
You know,
straight hand salutes.
Which
That
which
worries
group
me.
is it that doesn't believe that gay is an actual word?
That they should die. That they don't have the right to live. You know, I even heard today that their ultimate goal would be to take a woman's right to vote away and prevent them from working again like it used to be. Fuck that.
I saw a short video on YouTube. They have shorts now, they're like 30 or about 50 seconds long. And they were interviewing this girl on women's rights and what she thinks, and she literally said, I think this country started to go downhill. And a girl, I'm not talking about an old woman. I'm talking about a girl. Said that she felt the country started to go downhill when women were given the right to vote, and we need to take that back.
Right.
And not let women.
I believe I've seen that story myself too. So.
And she's like a 22-year-old. How do you not give everyone a voice? I don't know. I mean,
right.
And how do you think in your head that's acceptable?
It's not acceptable.
I mean, do you want women to just
even when it was acceptable, it wasn't acceptable.
I mean, do you want women to be subservient and say, whatever you men decide, that's good with us?
I asked somebody who's under 30 if they knew what women's suffrage was, and they looked at me like I had 3 heads. They had no idea what I was talking about. No idea. That's a problem.
I'm sorry I missed it yesterday, but yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, was National No Bra Day in October. No, seriously.
I don't think I left the house yesterday. Bummer.
And it's not just so they don't have to wear bras. It's to remember what they went through.
Yeah.
During the women's suffrage, era.
Right.
And too many people forget history. And you know what happens when you forget history?
You repeat it.
The younger generation wasn't schooled in the struggles that went on for women to get the right to vote. And so they don't know what happened, what was entailed, and
what they went through to get it.
Which brings them to, who cares if
the civil rights movement too, man. That came about when I was born. They finally had the right to not be in the back of the fucking bus. Really? A colored drinking fountain.
You know what's funny? I've seen I've seen a few people of color who don't know what happened during that time, the civil rights.
See, that's even more appalling to me. And everyone should know that, so we don't make that fucking disgusting mistake again.
Or if they know, like Candace Owens, they don't care.
And Ye wearing a White Lives Matter fucking shirt, you dumbass. What a dumbass. Sorry, you just did.
He was banned from Twitter.
Yeah. And didn't understand why. He was on Tucker Carlson. I don't understand why.
If you're an idiot.
Well, as he talks to one of the racist people on news today, Tucker Carlson. Yeah.
Yeah, Tucker's not, he's not racist.
No.
By the way, just as we're closing out, something came out today that,
and that's Fox, my opinion, not based on any fact.
Fox has been found to make up stories because it's cheap.
Yeah.
Easy.
Easier to do that way. I don't have to work so fucking hard.
Now, if that's the case, and they make up stories, and Tucker Carlson, according to the court, should not be believed because it's just entertainment, then how do they call themselves a news station?
They're not. They're not really a news station. They're a
infotainment?
Barely. Well, I don't know if it's infotainment, entertainment maybe, of some sort. If you're into fascism and whatever, then turn to Fox News. That's your entertainment.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm 57 years old, and I believe that some conspiracies, some theories, in order for it to be, for me to count it as a conspiracy, as a theory, it has to have some resemblance of credibility.
Yeah.
Just to say something without anything is nothing.
Right.
You know, the Bigfoot thing years ago, people came up with molds of foots and, you know, feet and you know, hair, tufts of hair and all that stuff that.
Well, then the blurry images
that they question. You know, and now you can say that, you know, Democrats are killing babies in the bottom of pizza stores and eating their brains
right.
or whatever, and no one has any proof whatsoever. They don't even have an idea of what proof is, and they go,
right.
"Oh yeah, that's got to be true."
I know they blindly believe it, but yet if someone corrects them, they always have a defense around it. You can never pin them down. It's just, you know, they have a way to get around your answer and arrive at their conclusion. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's circular thinking, and it's bullshit.
It's worse than circular thinking. At least circular thinking, there's real information you can follow. You just have to pay attention. And this is just, it's circular nonsense that is only for their benefit. It keeps them within their circle and keeps everyone else out. Or anyone who's within reason out. You know, like-minded individuals are welcome to join the spin. You know.
Well, man, I got some news for you.
Uh-oh.
This show is over, but there will be a Halloween special episode.
Oh, good.
So,
when?
I'll tell you right now. Let me pull up my busy to-do calendar. And I would say the 29th. 2 weeks from today.
I think somebody's trying to tell me something. Did he stop? He did.
So 2 weeks.
I'm trying to teach him to wear a harness so he'll go outside, and now he's actually liking it.
Actually, the 28th, Friday, will be the first one. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do either 2 or 3 days of Halloween.
Okay.
So bring your pumpkins, bring your candy, bring your costumes, and get set to just sit back and enjoy yourself.
And you're going to tape it? Or you're going to have the show on, or what?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because I'll be here.
Yeah. We're going to broadcast live Friday, Saturday, and maybe Sunday.
All right, I might have to log on Halloween.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I'll dress up as myself.
You know, I was going to dress up as you, but I don't have those kind of clothes.
Oh, dude, no. Mm-mm. I don't think the camera can handle it.
So, just before we go, just want to say thanks again, Matt, for contributing.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Next time we're going to get you a map so you can stay on course. But it goes where it goes.
They branch, man. They branch.
I get it. I get it.
Besides, you were asking me the cause. I was trying to give you the cause. Peace.
All right, brother. I will talk to you soon. Join us again next Saturday for another episode of What the Hell Are We Doing? All right, folks. I'm out of here.